Good day. Thanks for STV Club for the opportunity to present a little our activity. Between 20 to 24 October this year, we have in Iasi one school for advanced studies in the field of cold plasma and biomedical application. We have like invitati, Professor Jean Louis Briset from France, Dr. Boje Najera from Czech Republic, Dr. Bratislav Obradovic from University of Belgrade, Serbia. I invite our participants to present a little your opinion concerning cold plasma phenomena, cold plasma application in biomedical field, about our meeting organized by Apollonia University and Bioplasma Club. Professor Briset, at first, please.
Well, it was a very interesting meeting that occurred thanks to Apollonia University organization and his head, Professor Burri, and his co-workers, such as Professor Hnatiuc and other people working together. So we were all European people that met in Iasi to make a stay, to have a balance on the activity of the plasma and its interaction with the living matter. What's a plasma? A plasma, it's a mixture, it's an electric discharge composed by ions, electrons, molecules. Some of them are in excited states, which make them very reactive. And that's this highly reactive medium that gives the plasma all its properties. But it's now still more or less well known, so that there's a magic part in our work. In fact, we try, it works, or it doesn't work, and we try again. So the plasma everybody knows and is familiar with. For instance, in the lights that all around us, that's the plasma. Also the copying by corona devices in the offices. Many, and the LEDs also are, or some lasers are able to generate plasmas. And all these applications are now focused on treatment of the living matter. What does that mean? Several points. First, getting rid of wastes, organic wastes, for instance, maybe as well as blood or organic wastes from domestic origin or industrial origin, and also cleaning. Cleaning, that means cleaning for bacterial and microbial inactivation. So we could have clean surfaces, clean liquids and so on, and clean gas, which means that it's a tool for nosocomial disease, to fight against nosocomial disease in most large area and buildings. That was important to meet together we are all working with plasmas. but with different conditions, different apparatus, different kind of reactors. But all of us work at atmospheric pressure, and most of us work with air, which is the very easy to operate, most easy to operate, and less expensive medium. So it's a reason for us to choose to select these conditions. Since we operate different devices, we had different experiences, and this meeting was the opportunity to compare our results. So we could report on bacterial inactivation, on treatment of seeds, for instance. Also, my friend will probably tell you some information about, or treatment of some liquids, as another of liquid films for other application possible. So for each scientist, it's interesting to meet other ones and discuss, maybe sometimes warm discussions, but it remains very friendly, and we learn many things from each other because we shared the experiences. Also, since the organization was excellent, so it facilitated all exchanges. The balance of this meeting is, in my opinion, very positive. I can say that of all meetings. Some of them are more or less shining and bright and interesting. But this one, that was very close. Not so many communications and a lot of discussion after should prepare, help us to precise of point of views about this topic of the plasma discharge at atmospheric pressure. We covered a lot of topics, bacteria, seeds and vegetal problems, liquids and waste and soluble waste, and I think that everybody learned the problems that we had to solve in other with our techniques, and we had also to get into account the difficulties encountered by each colleague to choose the best way to get rid of these problems and to solve these problems. So that's my first opinion of the balance of this meeting in Iasi, three-day meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, about your intervention here in Iasi, Dr. Boje Najera.
I am very pleased that I may collaborate with member of the Bioplasma clubs, and I may present my research, my interested area which I am interested in this international conference here in the Iasi. And I am a biologist, and for me it's very important to communicate with physics, because the not thermal plasma treatments is about communication between the biologists and between physics, between both the groups together. The cold plasma treatment may be very hopeful for the seeds which may be used in the agriculture or in the forest companies or for food companies for the future, because the plasma changed some growing characteristics of the seeds and may stimulate germination and growth of many kind of the plant species. Oh.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bratislav Obradovic, please, about your research, your activity here, about Belgrade, Serbian Republic.
Thank you, Professor Hnatiuc, who invited us again, because we started with Bioplasma Club last year, where we met for the first time and start to discuss how to use our knowledge in the plasma for different treatments in a field of not only in medicine, but in medicine and biology. And only after 1 year we received one biologist to work with us. And what we are always trying to do when we are using plasma, we are trying to avoid some chemical treatments which are source of many toxic compounds. Try to avoid these chemicals with some species which we are produced in the plasma. For example, try to avoid hydrogen peroxide by using plasma, which produced more powerful for oxidizing species like hydroxyradical, for example, or try to avoid chlorine, which is a dangerous compound, by using also plasma and producing ozone or atomic oxygen. In that way, we are doing also for ecology and try to use plasma as much as possible and to make them concurrent according to the traditional chemical methods for example, for different oxidizing processes, or try to use plasma and plasma created species for bacteria killing, not to use large temperature for this purpose, because some materials doesn't allow us to be exposed on the high temperature. So we use plasma at ambient temperature to obtain exactly the same effect as, for example, for sterilization, which is need temperature larger than 100 degrees. So by using plasma, we can obtain the same effect at room temperature. And all our experience in different field of using plasma from treatment of different liquids by plasma in a purpose for degradation toxic compounds like phenol or like textile dyes, or destroy some oils in water, and also teach us how to recognize what is the most important which we produced in the plasma, and how to understand all the chemical reactions which we ignited by using plasma. And we are also working on preparation of some textile materials for sorbing some dyes, or for sorbing some sterilization agents like silver. And preparation of textile also needs a very large amount of chemicals. And when using plasma, we avoid using that chemical, which is probably toxic and probably dangerous.
Thank you. Thank you. And it is a very, very different kind of application of cold plasma discharges. And it's to develop all time this application. At the beginning was the depollution activities, but now is biological and medical application, is treatment of the surfaces and other. Maybe will be more in the future, and we hope all this evolution. And now a little talk about Bioplasma Club and the future or the activity of this club. Maybe change, share before.
The Plasma Club exists from 2 years ago, I think, both. And I think that is a good possibilities for more scientists to work together and the brainstorm in the plasma activities. Yes, because all is about changing of the experience and about talkative about the problematics and the changing of the information and about collaboration. And I am very pleased that Professor Hnatiuc is such important person in this field of the sciences, and he start and he take the people together and start the function of this clubs. Thank you for your work.
Thank you. Mr. Briset?
Well, of course I confirm these words because nobody knows anything. We get specialized in the field. I'm an old chemist, and I went working with plasmas very late. That means 30 years ago. But I spent a lot of years with solvents and liquid phases before starting with the electric discharge. And I found I could solve some problems with the help of chemistry, but when I started working with side problems, then I required the help of specialists. Specialists started working on microbiological material, and that work was first successful, but mainly successful because it was performed by specialists in microbiology, and they allowed to make an important step forward in knowledge of these applications. They had not the idea of using discharge, made themselves. I was unable, or my co-workers were unable to deal with the protocol of microbiology, but altogether it gave excellent results. Yes, we should see that. Thanks to the team of in France, in Massy-Palaiseau, that's the INRA, Institut National of Agronomy in France. So thanks to these colleagues, that it was possible to start understanding the problem and solving. So, absolutely necessary to meet together with people from different specialties. This is the opportunity, and I'm grateful about it.
Yeah. It's clear for the application of cold plasma discharges, we need a complementary team in the research. Physics, chemistry, biologists, engineers, and others. It's very, very interesting to have the opportunity to meet good people, to work together, and to push the progress in this field. And now, Mr. Obradovic.
As you mentioned right now, Professor Hnatiuc, we are different specialists in this field. Professor Hnatiuc is electrical engineer, Professor Briset is chemist, Dr. Najera is biologist, and I am physicist. So we are from different aspects of
It's clear
science.
now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
From different aspects from scientific work, but we are what was joined together is plasma as object and some applications in different fields. For example, in chemistry, in biology, and now we are tried to spare our using plasma in more applicable fields like in medicine, and this is purpose that we are came here and to organize Bioplasma Club to see how we can what we learned about plasma application and how we use this knowledge for application in the field of medicine. They are very promoting this field of plasma application is under very fastly growing and only in a couple of years there are many publications in the field of different plasma treatment in medicine. Also published one very good journal, Plasma in Medicine. So we try to use all our knowledge in different fields to create some useful for people in medicine.
Thank you very much, Bratislav. But it's at the beginning for you, for some words about our town, our region of Moldavia.
I'm very glad for last year that you organized visit in Bukovina, Moldavia, to see your beautiful monasteries. In Serbia, we also have Orthodox monasteries. But what I'm impressed about that monasteries is painting of the out wall of all churches. that was impressed me, really, because in many monasteries in Serbia and Greeks, painted only inside the church, not outside the church. And about Iasi, it's a beautiful town, and I like the towns which is surrounded by hills. And this town, as I heard from you, is full of students, and one fifth or 1/6 of population of town is students. So it's very promising for the future.
And young
of this
town. And
Yes,
young town.
Yes.
Okay.
Young town. In the best years.
Boje, about Iasi a little.
I have never been here. It is my first experience.
And in
This-
Romania, it's the first too.
No.
Yeah.
I visited before. But the time I visit the first, and because I am botanist, specialist in botany, and like the trees. And I am very surprising that this town, which is quite a huge city, that is so many the green places inside the industrial zone and inside the center of the town, and I enjoyed it very well. Yes, and I agree with them that the town is young town is with the young people. Yeah, because there are many universities, and I met with your student, and it was interesting.
Okay. Thank you. And for you, Jean Louis?
Well, I had already trips in Romania and also in Iasi. And it's always a pleasure to visit again this area, because I find it is a mixing of civilizations between Near East. I spent several trips all around, and old Europe. And this mixing is fascinating. It has the magic of magic aspect of East, and the part of reasonable development of Western Europe. That's a mixture which is extremely interesting, and also it's a very dynamic city, very young city, with at the moment a lot of work from civil engineering, not always pleasant, but it will be improve the quality of life in the next years. So it's always for me a great pleasure to be here and in this area also, and have a look over monasteries, churches, and so on, like every one of us. So I thank you for that.
Thank you very much for your intervention here. I hope to be next year another, because in our intention it's to have a real life for Bioplasma Club. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.